Hey everyone, are you curious about the benefits of professional qualifications? Well, in this video, we'll explore the world of professional qualifications and uncover their potential. Through two of my own stories, you'll learn the transformative power of professional qualifications and also some of their limitations. So let's get into it. So story number one is me, but 10 years ago. I wasn't yet qualified and I'd just started my graduate scheme. So essentially, I wanted the ability to learn on the job and in particular learn by study because it's what I was used to. I needed to translate my kind of pure maths background into a more business-friendly background. And I also wanted to do that while being paid because I didn't actually have much money at the time. So I essentially found the job that had the kind of most extreme form of professional qualification while working that I could find, and that was the actuarial qualification. It also kind of matched up with my desire to kind of utilize what I'd learned on my degree in the real world. And looking back, I think I definitely had some very interesting kind of beliefs around what I wanted to do and what it took to be successful in that time. But yeah, that was my kind of goal and what I wanted. I wanted to learn on the job. At the time, I thought if I didn't find a job where I was able to kind of use my maths degree, I would be a massive failure. And also looking back, I was very keen to keep learning. And I think I didn't really put any kind of value on learning while doing or learning on the job. I didn't seem to apply any value to that. I thought all learning was kind of what we've been taught at school, which is get a textbook, learn it, take the exam. And that was definitely a limiting belief I had at that time. So yeah, I was very focused on learning, but not really the right sort of learning, if that made sense. I also really liked that I was able to just keep doing to a hammer everything looks like a nail. I was basically applying the same skill set that I'd always applied my whole life to now the world of work. I'd done it at school, done it at uni, and now I was doing it in the work world. And so taking exams is what I knew, doing maths exams is what I knew as well, and I just thought if I can find a job that can just keep allowing me to do that. So yeah, I got my actuarial job. It allowed me to take a day off a week to study. The actuarial course is 15 exams, probably the equivalent to a master's degree potentially, and I was very happy with that. However, I think having got to the end of the actuarial course, I realised after 4 years, or however long it took me, that it was not the be all and end all, and actually most of the kind of work and skills that were valued weren't actually taught in the actuarial degree, and it was kind of a good kind of baseline of knowledge. But to be honest, to be successful in a role, I didn't really need it. There were lots of other skills that are more highly valued. Another way of looking at this is it was my kind of apprenticeship, as Robert Greene would say in his mastery book. And it was where I was really developing my expertise in financial maths, in investment, in finance. And it was a really nice way of doing that. So I was learning alongside work, I was given a good study package, and it allowed me to kind of really still satisfy that desire to keep learning from theory, not just by doing. So yeah, looking back, I loved it and I'm glad I did it. I think very quickly after I qualified, I realised that some of the things that I thought were true about the actuarial qualification or what it would give me didn't actually come true. So I don't think it's valued as highly by people in the industry, particularly in the investment industry, because it's not a requisite qualification. And lots of people have done the CFA and lots of people have no qualifications because it's more about learning on the job. I also thought that because it takes so long to write the syllabus and it's not always the most up to date, so it doesn't have a huge amount of sustainability, or it didn't when I was doing it. So that was one of the other connotations I think of the professional qualification. But I think that, in retrospect as well, actuarial qualification taught me, it's like Alex Hormozy says, like it's not what you do on the work, it's what the work does on you. So it was extremely difficult. And doing it alongside work really forced me to develop my time management skills. I had to have huge discipline. I failed some of the exams, and that wasn't something I was used to, so I had to have a huge amount of resilience. There were points when I'd failed a bunch of exams and I thought I'm never going to qualify, and I don't think I'll ever make it. But yeah, I kept going, pushed through that barrier and demonstrated and developed resilience and eventually qualified. And looking back, it seems ridiculous now that I ever thought that, but at the time I was distraught and devastated. So yeah, that's the first story around professional qualifications. I found it to be an amazing apprenticeship into the world of work. It was kind of a nice way to kind of edge out of academia and into the real world, whereas other jobs I think just throw you straight into the real world. There's not a huge amount of like theory or academics behind it. Except medicine, law, I don't know. But yeah, definitely had some limitations, and I think I had limiting beliefs around what I thought it would bring me. But yeah, that was the first time professional qualifications kind of transformed me and my view on the world. And then the next story is 5 years ago when I decided to move into sustainability. So my main problem at that point was that my career had kind of plateaued. I wasn't moving forward. I didn't think the area I was in was growing in particular. So I needed to make a move into a new area. I felt like if I didn't change, I would be extremely bored, I would get burnt out, I might just change jobs, move aimlessly. But yeah, the professional qualification really helped me here. Just doing the ESG CFA, it made me realise a huge amount of extra information and knowledge that I didn't conceive before. It enabled me to move on with my career. I think that I knew from my actuarial that this wasn't going to be kind of passport into a senior position at the job, but I knew it was a great starting point, and it just ticks off one box, which is, does he have the knowledge? It's like, yeah, I've got knowledge, done the theory, but now it's time to put it into practice, and it's the putting it into practice which really gets you where you need to go. So yeah, there's 2 stories where I've used professional qualifications to further my career. So obviously hugely beneficial. It's a great way to get loads of information and knowledge into your head quickly, which is a great way of removing kind of roadblocks or blocks to progress. As Danko says, if you don't know what to do, then just read and learn and expand your horizons, and eventually something will come to the fore. And professional qualifications with that. That being said, I do look back at my history and think that I've overly relied on them. So I've put too much weight on professional qualifications and learning through theory, whereas there's so many other ways you can learn, mainly by just getting experience and trying loads of things. That's the best way to learn, and I wish I ascribe more value to learning on the job and learning how the world really works than trying to learn everything from a textbook. That being said, it's a great way to start out. It's a great way to leverage the skills that you developed at school, and if you like examining, it's a pretty straightforward way to move ahead. So there we have it. There was 2 stories from my past of how I've used professional qualifications to advance my career. If you enjoyed that video, why not check out this one here? Thanks.